Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. So I got the Overland Vehicle Systems awning out because it's kind of a crappy rainy November day in the state of Ohio. I also wanted to get it out to do some more looking at it since I just got it up to figure out how I'm going to do some things with it. That's for another video. Today's video is related to a video where I showed how I rewired all the trailer wiring for the hiker. So all the 7-pin wiring. Just a quick reminder. Hiker kind of used the wrong kind of wire, and they use colors, but they kind of mismatched the colors. So I think yellow is like, reverse, and they didn't even install reverse because I guess there's no reverse lights on the hiker, but like they would hook a red to a green and a green to a red. Like, why not just hook the red to the red and the green to the green so that it's easier to repair if you have to repair it down the road. So I kind of ripped it all out, and then got some nice like 18 gauge marine grade wire with the right colors. And as part of reinstalling those new harnesses, I had to take the old wire clamps off and put new ones on. So I wasn't going to put the crappy Chinese stuff back on. So I've got aviation grade, I think these are called 8L or 8L clamps, or Adele, or anyway, with a wedge style. I'm not sure you can see the wedge, but as you close the clamp, the wedge helps keep the wires from creeping under the surfaces that get clamped together. Kind of nice feature. And then the self-tapping, I wasn't going to put the self-tapping screws back in that were holding the Chinese clamps. And it turns out that a number 10 machine screw is just slightly bigger than the hole for that self-tapping screw. So I was able to drill it out with it's a number 21 drill bit for a number 10 screw. But then I needed to tap the hole to the right thread pitch. And the aviation grade stuff, this aviation grade stainless, aviation grade hardware, at least the AN stuff, is fine thread. Aviation doesn't use coarse thread. So I had to make sure I bought a tap kit that had the number 10 32. I think the coarse thread pitch is 24. So 1024 is the coarse and 1032 is the fine. So, and I hadn't gotten video of it. So there was one last thing that required me to mount something to chassis, and that was the negative bus inside the camper. And that negative bus has the battery negative and the AC ground for the inverter I installed. And you really want to kind of bond all the metal together. Some people would say ground, but the correct term here is bond. So you want to ground all of the kind of negative or ground side metal together. For safety, if you're plugged into, say, grid AC, but like if you do radios like me, if you don't get all that metal grounded, weird things can happen with the waves, and the radio is either not going to perform as well, or you're going to get electromagnetic interference. So I had to run a bond wire from that negative bus down through a spare port in a cable gland, and then drill and tap a hole to mount a lug for that wire there. So that's what today's video is about. I didn't do a lot of talking, or really any talking, as I was doing the work. So I'm going to record a voiceover for you guys so you kind of understand my thinking as I'm doing the work. Sometimes I just, either I'm frustrated and don't want to talk. Who knows what I was frustrated about. or sometimes I'm just looking to get the job done quickly, and talking just kind of slows things down. So yeah, sorry. Hopefully it's easier to follow along. So let's get to it. All right, guys. That silver mark was, yeah, just a silver permanent style marker, and the bit's walking, and I think it's because I can't get the drill bit perpendicular to the face of the chassis, because the plywood's right above it, almost hitting the chuck on the drill. Suppose I could have used a smaller bit to get it started and then moved up to the number 21 bit that I'm using here for the number 10 screw. Yeah, finally get it, start it, and I'm gonna get some WD-40 on here in a second. I think there's probably a group of people that are hard over on using like machine oil or cutting oil. I use whatever I have laying around, and the goal is just to keep the heat down so you're not burning up the bit. Yeah, I found that just drilling a basic hole, the WD-40 is good enough to work. Maybe I wouldn't use it in a real machine shop, but here we are. Yeah, so when I stop to reapply some of the WD-40, I'm almost all the way through and I don't realize it, so it's kind of a little funny on my part. And I didn't spray, I just kind of let the drop kind of dribble in. That was, the drop that was already there dribble in. And I like to wobble the bit a little bit. For some reason, this drill and tap set makes, I'm not sure it's the hole or the hardware I'm using, but the hardware goes in kind of tight unless you wobble the bit a little bit and make the hole ever so slightly bigger. So I'm not sure you could see me wobbling it back there. And I'm not sure about older taps, but all the new stuff is like self-starting, so you don't have to really put hardly any pressure on inward on the tap to get it started. You just kind of jam it in and start turning, and it just kind of starts on its own. And what I'm doing here, especially with steel, sometimes with aluminum, you gotta, every so often, maybe, I don't know, half a turn here, you have to loosen the tap back up to break the chip. So those teeth are cutting and removing steel, and that steel's got to go somewhere. And if you don't break the chip or clear the chip, it will get jammed up in there and the tap won't turn. And if you try to keep turning the tap, these are like grade 8 or like, they're just like super hardened steel, and it doesn't take much to fracture them. And I think anyone that's done any kind of tapping will tell you that yeah, it's easy to snap a tap if you're not careful. And careful here means clearing the chips, breaking the chips frequently. Yeah, so with the setup here, with the small handle, I'm getting about half a turn, maybe a quarter turn before I kind of feel the resistance building up and have to turn it back to clear the chip. Don't do a lot of tapping, and the last tapping I did was a while before this, so not really sure if that's normal. I stop when I feel the resistance increase, and because I don't want to buy another tap. So here I'm adding I just added a little bit more WD-40 as kind of poor man's cutting oil. Just makes it go a little bit better. You will create heat tapping, not as much as drilling, but because it's slower, so the heat dissipates more quickly than drilling, but the heat's there. Also just lubricating the threads to make it go a little bit better. I think I'm repositioning the light for you guys. Yeah, it looks like it's broken through. I like to go a few turns past where it clears. And then what you're going to see me do is take this tap out, spray some more WD-40 and run the tap through again, because I found that to make the hardware, the machine screw, not be super difficult to go in that first time, I've had to wobble that bit a little bit and also run the tap through again. I don't know if it's just leaving small chips or chunkies behind and running it through the second time is clearing all those out or what, but just adds a minute or two, if that. So that I do it, make my life easier. No sense in making the machine screw really hard to go in and messing up the threads on the steel chassis or the threads on the stainless machine screw. So I'm done with that, and now I'm backing it out. Yes, I'm laying on the ground to do this. If you saw all the dirt and debris on the back of my shirt. So I'm just doing a test fit before I take some paint off around that hole for a better contact. So I'm checking to make sure that I don't have that super tight fit on the threads like I mentioned before. Now, technically, it's got a good bond right now because I've got metal-to-metal contact on the machine screw and the lug, and the machine screw's got good metal-to-metal contact on the threads. But what I'm going to do is get a sanding disc for a drill and remove the paint around the hole so I get lug to chassis contact as well. The more area for bonding, the better. Especially if you've got RF involved. For DC, it's probably not important at all. So I was just using a silver marker to trace the outline to help me understand where to remove the paint. Yeah, so I try flat, and that doesn't work so well. So I move to the edge here. It would work if I could angle the drill up, but I can't because that plywood's in the way. So you don't want to do it flat face with the sanding disc. You want to kind of do it on, I don't know, the outer quarter or outer third of the disc. But to do that, you need to lean the drill off of perpendicular. Yeah, there's just there's no room to do that here. So Yeah, I'm kind of chewing up the edge of this disc, so it's not getting reused. And this is powder coated, so it's a little bit tougher than regular paint, which is why I'm using the sanding disc. If it were just kind of regular paint, I might just use my fingers and some sandpaper. Now I'm just checking to see if I've removed enough paint so I get good lug to chassis contact, and I need to take a little bit more off towards the wire side of the lug. And this is fluid film. It actually makes a good dielectric, but it also covers the bare metal so it doesn't rust now that we've taken the paint off. And when you get that metal to metal contact, as you crank the screw down, it'll kind of squeeze itself out. So you're still going to get good metal to metal contact, but in the process of squeezing out, it kind of seals up the mating surfaces so oxygen can't get in and cause corrosion. And what I'm doing here is, before I completely tighten it up, I'm making sure, you know, the screw head, the washer, and the lug mating surfaces all are kind of goobered up with that fluid film. And the screw doesn't actually need, you know, a lock washer under it, or you know, Loctite or thread locker. It's pretty well in there. There's still enough friction where it's not going to back itself out. And yeah, you're just kind of seeing here where it's coming out of the cable gland. And I gave myself some extra length in case I had to move it for some reason or repair it. Yeah, so you know, I think that's it. So that kind of finishes up the wiring on the bottom of the trailer, and now it's just kind of like adding little bits of wiring here and there for when I want to add accessories to the trailer. So, all right, guys, thanks a lot. See ya.